understand what you're saying. No.
There it is.
Let's hear it.
Well, let's hear it.
Talk to us.
Uh-oh.
Beadle and Decker, taking on sports talk like no one else. Michelle Beadle,
I'm just helping. I'm helping America one by one.
Cody Decker.
I 100% believe in revenge. Revenge is a great thing.
Back to the sports.
Back and ready for more.
Every time I tune them out, they pull me back in.
It's Beadle and Decker. Here's Michelle and Cody.
Hello, everyone. It is a Tuesday. It is a lovely Tuesday here in Southern California, Los Angeles, Santa Monica, California. It's about 75 degrees. There is no cloud in the sky, and it is a beautiful St. Patty's Day. I got my green on. I'm sure you guys got some green on, or maybe you don't. You don't really observe. Don't really care. But either way, we got ourselves a hell of a show for you this Tuesday. And I'm not going to lie to you. As you know, on most Tuesdays, you bring in one of the greatest pinch hitters in the world when it comes to Beadle and Decker. And as always, it is a Tyrone Johnson Tuesday. Tyrone, my guy, how you doing? How's life? How's your St. Patty's Day going? And I love the swag around your neck, my guy.
Well, it's very important on St. Patrick's Day. Everybody knows a lovely village in Ireland by the name of Tyrone. It's where I believe I got my name from, but I'm not 100% sure. I'm 99% sure. But it's Tyrone Tuesday. Happy St. Patrick's Day, everybody. Please celebrate. And if you don't drink, celebrate another way, all right? Because we all can get lucky today in more ways than one.
Absolutely. And keep in mind, you're Tyrone, where your name comes from, of course, Cody, which means good one in old-fashioned Gaelic, as I am, ladies and gentlemen, a good one. I'm looking forward to talking about St. Patty's Day. I'm looking forward to talking about baseball. I'm looking forward to talking about the moves in the NFL, March Madness. We got a lot of cover on that today. Team USA is just a very weird team in the WBC, and that, of course, is where we're going to start today. We got to start first before we get to the finale tonight. Let's just recap last night because, dude, Italy versus Venezuela, another banger game. This WBC has been so good. Just so good, dude. Like, it really has.
Yeah, I've really enjoyed it. I've enjoyed, I will say, everybody but the American team. And not that I don't want USA to win.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
It just seems like they're having less fun, and the Latin countries are having way more fun. Now, while I had no actual rooting interest, Venezuela or Italy in the game last night, I'm just watching the game. My, number 2 starter, Aranola, to start the season, he'll be number 3 once the season starts on the mound, so I have interest in that way. I love what Venezuela's been doing. First, they beat Japan, and they do the whole chant of, in Spanish, about we ate sushi for dinner.
Yeah.
And then after they win this one, they're due, we ate pizza. And I don't know if it's offensive or not. I don't know, but I know those guys are having a ball playing the game. And there's something about, except for America, there seems to be a direct correlation between how much fun you're having and how much success you're having at the same time. It seems like Japan was very stoic. Perhaps that's why they lost. Then they lose, and the manager immediately resigns. There's a fun to success ratio that seems to be happening in this tournament, and that's something that rarely happens in American sports.
Yes. And by the way, before we get to Team USA and all the weirdness around them, because, yeah, dude, I'm not going to lie to you. I've actually, sat down and looked through everything that has transpired with Team USA since this tournament began. And, dude, in a week and a half, 2 weeks, it's been a lot. It's been a lot. So I look forward to going from case by case by case with you. But first, I just real quick to put a pin on this game last night. Aranola goes 4 innings, gives up 1 earned run. Michael Lorenzen comes in shortly after. He goes 2.2 innings, gives up 3 earned runs. And I heard a lot of people giving some flack over to Cervelli for keeping Lorenzen in so long. I agree he did get hit around there towards the end, but it wasn't like he was giving up bombs left or right. It was a base hit here, it was a bloop there, line drive here. And I was watching the foul territory guys kind of talk about it a little bit, saying they kind of disagreed. And I lean a little bit more towards Eric Katz in this conversation. I think both have their merits. Did Lorenzen get left in too long? Possibly. But honestly, who was better in your bullpen than Michael Lorenzen? The answer is no one.
Yeah, that's the tough thing. It's easy to make these kind of arguments in baseball more than every other sport once you know the result. So it's easy to say, well, you left him in too long because he gave up runs. But you don't make people always assume, and I'm guilty of it as anybody. So I'm not that I'm above it. But had they went to the next guy, 1, 2, 3, it couldn't be that guy gave up 3 runs. Had they went to somebody else, that guy gives up 8. It's always, guy gave up 3 runs. If we went to somebody else, he gives up 0. And it's interesting how our minds work in a sport where we know in all of sports, it can always get worse. I know we say, it can't get worse. No, it always can get worse. And those 3 runs might have actually somewhat kept him in the game because the other reliever might have gave up 5, 6, 7, etc. And that's the part I find interesting. I was fine with it, but obviously, once you know the result, then it's easy to say, oh, you left him in too long.
And it happens all the time, but I just thought this was a great game. Nothing, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart, nothing against Italy. I didn't want Italy moving forward. And it's not because I didn't think they were a good team and wasn't deserving. I didn't want them moving forward because I was dreading them getting to the finals a little bit, and hear me out on why. Because you got Team USA in there right now, and you can make the argument they deserve or don't deserve. Of course, there was the controversy of the ending against Dominican Republic. Drove me nuts, but hey, doesn't mean DR was going to win the game. It just means Fernando Tatis Jr. was coming up to the plate with the winning run on first base and the tying run on third base with a wild Mason Miller on the mound who already had 1 wild pitch in the inning. But that's neither here nor there. USA in the finals, perfectly fine. I didn't want Italy getting in there, dude, because I didn't want to hear the narrative, well, this is just USA versus USA B team. It's not the USA B team. It just isn't. There's not a single guy on that lineup that would have gotten a phone call, a text, or a returned email from Team USA, with the exception of maybe Pasquatch. But those of you that think Pasquatch would have been the second first baseman on this team, there's like 9 other first basemen that would have been on this team before him. Again, nothing against Pasquantino. He's a hell of a player, and he had a great tournament, and he was so much fun in his interviews. I just didn't want to deal with the narrative. That's all. I just didn't want to hear the bullshit.
Yeah, I get that. Now, Italy creates that when you take Aaron Nola, for example, who's from Louisiana, and sure, Team Italy, sure. You ever been to Italy? Who cares? Somebody was. Like, they kind of set it up like that, but that would have been a narrative. This is a more fun matchup, a more compelling matchup, for sure, Venezuela. And I am fascinated in how this game's going to go down, but I think Venezuela will be the looser team for sure.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this matchup. I mean, I really liked that Mikel Garcia last night, third baseman from the Royals organization, a guy that I think a lot of people in baseball world don't really know, because I don't think a lot of people have been paying enough attention to the Royals these last couple of years. But him kind of having a great day, Arise obviously getting that big hit. You had the bomb by Suarez to get them on the board. It's going to be a fun game, and of course against USA tonight. I'm excited for this finale. There's nothing else I can say about that other than I'm excited for this finale, Tyrone. But we got to talk about something else, because can we just agree on something? Because this is a very weird team. And when I say weird, it's not just the team themselves, because it's not like it's not superstars. It's chock full 1 through 9. Bench is clearly killer. The starting rotation's great. The bullpen's pretty damn good. They have everything they need to potentially win. But man, are they just no fun at all. It is just not fun to watch this team even a little. And I'm getting really bothered by all the shit around it. Like, let's start at the beginning. You had the missteps from somebody like Bryce Harper, who I got to say, Bryce Harper is usually pretty good for sound bites. And at first I thought he was killing it. And then he goes out there saying, well, it's not the Olympics, so we care more about the Olympics. What do you mean you care more? Major League Baseball players have never been in the Olympics. What are you talking about? And then you move over to, the weird speech by Aaron Judge that just fired up nothing. Then you had D-Row not knowing the rules, or not knowing that his ticket wasn't punched, and then doubling down on it and blaming the media. And now the new thing, Mark DeRosa bringing in, SEAL Team 6 member, and I'm trying to remember his name, Robert O'Neill, to speak to the team before Team Canada. And by the way, if you guys didn't see that, this thing has gone absolutely viral, but not for the right reasons. I mean, this is not about where you stand politically. I just want you guys to understand something. Venezuela is a country that is not in the best shape and their team is out here playing for their countrymen with more flair and fun than anyone in the world. The Dominican was fun. They're dancing, they're singing songs. You got Team Italy drinking espresso. It's just this tournament has brought out so much fun and what fun can be in this game, where the United States are doing salutes, are bringing in military members, detailing how he killed Osama bin Laden, which has been disputed by his other team members, I might add. This has just been really, really, really weird. And it's like, you got like Paul Skeens, who's an amazing pitcher, but he's like, D-Rose said, he came up to me, he's like, I want to do this for all our servicemen. What? What do you guys think baseball is? Do you think baseball is a game that should be fun for us fans and the players? Or do you think baseball needs to be fucking war? I'm just lost on what our war culture is doing to our sports world, because 5 years ago, these same people were saying, keep your politics out of our sports. And now it's just like, yeah, politics in our sports, baby. Fuck yeah, America.
Yeah, the performative patriotism is always annoying. It's always annoying. And it doesn't mean you don't support the troops. And obviously, despite what we might think, we're currently at war, so that plays a role in it. And I don't think they knew when they booked the SEAL Team 6 guy. I don't think they knew we were going to be at war when that happened. Possibly. In their defense. I don't think they knew. At the same time, you're allowed to have fun with sports. And that's the part that's been tough, is that if they didn't have USA across their chest and you were just rooting for teams, you would pick this team last because they've had the least amount of fun, and they have not been a likable crew. They've won, but you have the manager that's a damn liar. You have Bryce Harper, who, by the way, I don't mind the idea of stopping the season and having putting the major leaguers in the Olympics. I actually don't think that's a bad idea. You don't say that here. You say it at the conclusion. You go back to your club. They ask you about the experience. You go, I loved it. It was great to be with the guys. The only thing that could have been better is if it was in the Olympics in 2 years, and you say it like that. That's the way to do it. Since baseball is in the Olympics, all you have to do is make a rule change, and instantly Team USA in LA could have their major leaguers there. So that part I understood, but the placement was weird. Not making Schwarber the captain was a huge mistake, because then we had to hear Aaron Judge talk. It was a gigantic mistake. It should have been Schwarber. He would have given a better speech. Everything about what Team USA has done, the fact that they scored their runs the way they did against Mexico and it was kind of uneasy, the fact that they lost the way that they did and the manager lied about it, it has not been a fun experience. And the performative patriotism, not real genuine patriotism, where I spoke to the mother of a troop that's currently in Iran, or one of the troops that the families of one of the troops that were unfortunately slain over there. That wouldn't be as performative. This is performative patriotism that actually has nothing to do with anything real. And that's the part that's strange. It's not connected to anything, because they're not making that connection. They're not doing it for the servicemen in Iran. It's the generic service people. And it sounds like this is a performative script that was written by this manager, and this group of guys happen to buy into it.
Yeah, and it's very interesting. And by the way, this is not meant to be political, but it's just wild how much this is just not leaked in. It is taken over. And it's shown a lot of people talking about, like, I'm going to read a very viral tweet right here. Team Japan turning a random foreigner into a hero only because he struck out Shohei Ohtani. Yeah, that was pretty cool. They turned that guy from the Chechnya team into a hero. The electrician, DR, dancing and having the best time of their lives. Italy, drinking espresso. Team USA, selling war bonds. It's just another one. It's just after another. It's Italy. Haha, we drink espresso in the dugout. Dominican Republic. Haha, we're having so much fun hyping each other up. Team USA. We're listening to the man describe in detail the raid to kill Osama bin Laden and prepare us to play Canada in baseball. Yeah, like, this is weird, man. It's just, and baseball has a lot of this. It always has. I played for the San Diego Padres. Yes, there is a military base down there. So there's a lot of, like, Marine culture that has been put into the Padres minor league system and in all of their, like, logos and stuff. And they have a great military appreciation thing, like, every Sunday. I played minor league cities where they were military towns. Like, these spaces make sense to me. But I don't understand putting USA on your chest now means, okay, now we're war hawks. That's just weird to me. It feels joyless and imperialistic. It's fucking baseball.
Right. And had it been Joe DiMaggio or Ted Williams or Willie Mays and guys that served, okay, you're talking about your fellow brothers in arms because you actually were in the military. Therefore, the link is more direct. In this particular case, it feels like it's unnecessary political. And one thing that we all can agree on, even if you love it and you think, yes, do that, be performatively patriotic 24/7, you have to also agree that there's no fun. You know, military have guys out there doing their marches with the precision and calling it off and things like that. Have an active service people or two there, active, not someone bragging about a war story that may or may not be true. The way they've gone about it has sucked the fun out of it, and it has made them, to me, the least likable team of the group. The least likable team. Now, their Team USA, they very well may win, but they have not done it in the most likable way, especially when you consider how likable the USA hockey team was, regardless of what happened at the end. And we know during the Olympics, they were extremely likable during, and then some people didn't like what happened afterwards. But everyone was unanimously rooting for them, and there was no reason not to when they were going against Canada. America has done things to make other people not root for them, kind of for no reason.
Yeah, it's wild, and it's just strange. But let's get away from baseball. I'm looking forward to the game time. Actually, before we put a pin on it, what are your thoughts tonight? Do you? It's a decent pitching matchup. Like, what are you thinking? It's going to be Nolan McLean from the Mets facing Arizona Diamondbacks left-hander Eduardo Rodriguez. There are some players on this team that struggle against Eduardo Rodriguez. Eduardo's a hell of a pitcher, and I do think this is a good matchup. I just want good baseball. That's all I truly want. Now, I think this game can go either way. If you look at their splits, the run differentials, I believe the USA has a 21 run differential where Venezuela has a 19 run differential. Their ERAs are roughly the same amount of home runs for both teams. They're both very good and complete teams, but I do think that I've noticed, and tell me what you're noticing on this. Maybe I just have a different read. U.S., especially in that last game, they're kind of more predicated and kind of leaning on the long ball, it seems a little bit more, where this team, Venezuela, ain't afraid to manufacture, which we saw last night. I don't know, man. USA should win, but I think Venezuela is going to win.
I have USA winning, and it's because I always look at baseball. When I look at a lineup, I go, this is a failure game. I always work off of that and go backwards from it's a failure game. So then who's more reliable? And I feel like there are more reliable bats on Team USA. One of these guys or two of these guys up at the top of that order are going to break through, in my opinion, in the game. Now, obviously, it's one baseball game. Anything can happen. But I've seen Schwarber take a lot of lefties deep. Maybe not a great average, but when he gets a hold of it, forget about it. I've seen Harper in big spots in the past. Aaron Judge. And the one thing that's interesting about this game is, unlike the Venezuelan players, these guys will carry what happens into the season with the fans, whether they want to or not. If Bryce Harper comes to the plate with the bases loaded and he succeeds, Phillies fans will be, look at my guy Harper. If he strikes out, Phillies fans are going to say, look at that guy Harper. It won't be my guy. It'll be that guy temporarily. Same with Schwarber. Same with Judge. Yankee fans right now do not have a lot of patience with Aaron Judge. So with the big stars, what they do is going to reflect how the fans think about it when they return home, and that part is very intriguing. A lot less pressure in that way on the Venezuelan players.
Right here, Schwarber, not a very good career against him, but off the bench against him, 0 for 8. Walk, 4 Ks. Also Bregman, though. Bregman is the one guy on this team who has phenomenal numbers against him. So that's watch out for that. And dude, let's just enjoy some good baseball. Let's get away from baseball for a moment and let's go over to the NFL. We have some news over these last couple of days in the NFL, and let's just start at the newest. Congratulations, Broncos. You got yourself a pretty good guy there. A flat out brand new look in Miami. Everybody's gone. Malik Willis is over there with going to be basically a new squad. What are your thoughts on all of this all around? Great move for the Broncos. Interesting for Miami.
It's both. One thing about Miami that I can say is very good and should be encouraging overall for Dolphins fans are You don't have moves being made for just the here and now. In the NFL, because it stands for not for long, you have a lot of general managers and coaches making moves for the here and now that ends up tripping them up. They don't make the prudent move. Clearly, ownership told this new GM and this new coach, you guys have time. I'm going to let you build it up properly. I'm going to be patient. That is gigantic. That's huge. So I like the approach. Now they have two first, a second, and 4 third-round picks for Miami this year. That's the way you build your roster. And if you don't think they're not all going to be stars, that's also how you build your special teams when you hit guys in that third round especially. On the other side, everybody knows that the Super Bowl loser hardly ever comes back. So if you take the Patriots out of it, right now at this moment, who's the best team in the AFC? Some people will say Buffalo. Some people will say Baltimore. But I can tell you, Denver's saying right now it's us. And we just added to show that it's us. We got the young quarterbacks that's going to get better. He has these weapons on the offensive side of the ball. We already had a kick-ass defense. So I think that on the one hand, Miami is setting themselves up, unless Malik Willis is a total stud, to be one of the 5 worst teams in the sport, but have a bright future. Denver's saying, I'm ready to win right now. And that's the part to me that makes this trade so fascinating.
Yeah, and the question is, and it's being asked, I don't even actually know. I'm actually looking this up right now. What is Miami's current dead cap? I mean, it's got to be just with Tua alone.
It's 99 on just on one player.
Oh, you ready?
Yeah.
The Miami Dolphins are facing a historic, record-breaking dead cap of over $165 million.
So there you go. And that's part of the reason why you need those extra draft picks in that case, because that's low-cost controlled players. And you can expect a lot of those guys, whether they're good or not, to really be out on the field unless it's going to have a bunch of undrafted free agents or minimum player guys out there right away. It's one of those things where you take the pain now, and then they'll have a clear cap sheet with assets and hopefully a low-cost quarterback in Malik Willis. This is a gamble, but I really do like what Miami's doing, because otherwise you have these players and you do this over 3 years and you never get closer to winning. This is to take the pain now to have the pleasure later, something that none of us ever want to do. But they're doing it.
I got to ask you about this. This is actually something really funny to me because, listen, those of you that don't know about Tyrone, you should Google him and just check out everything he's doing. He is, of course, the co-host of the Craig Carton Show over there on Sports Grid. Craig Carton, as you know, good friend of mine, good friend of yours, and something caught my eye yesterday and a lovely, lovely video you guys posted on Instagram. If you guys don't follow the Craig Carton Show, you should. They put out some great stuff. I saw Craig talking all that shit about Justin Fields yesterday, and that was really intriguing to me, as if they didn't just get their hands on Geno Smith, his favorite quarterback of all time. Fields to Kansas City, I don't think is a laughing matter. Now, as of now, Patrick Mahomes is slated to start week 1 of the NFL. But if that doesn't happen, Fields in there. The reason why I like this move, Tyrone, and tell me if you have a different read on this, I like this move a lot for Justin Fields to be the backup at Kansas City. One, working under that coaching staff, that head coach who has accomplished everything that he's accomplished, putting him in that system. And not to mention this, there seems to be a trend in the NFL, which I don't think we've seen a lot of in the past, even though we've kind of scratched our heads. This is a quarterback. I'm not saying he's Patrick Mahomes. Everybody calm down before you think I'm saying that. But he is a quarterback with a similar skill set. And now we have less preseason games. So now you don't have to put together multiple schemes for multiple different quarterbacks. Instead, you could probably run the same exact scheme. Not to mention, Patrick Mahomes doesn't really do a whole lot of quarterback sneaks anymore. You could definitely get your hands on Justin Fields for some quarterback sneaks during out this season. I really like this move.
For what they paid, and why not, is a guy with experience who started games in the NFL for a 2027 6th-round pick. So to me, there's no downside. What I find most intriguing is, if so many fans think he stinks, why did the Chiefs pick him? They could have picked a lot of quarterbacks. They could have went and got a lot of guys. Why did they go and get him? And it only costed them $3 million. So why did they go get him? My guess is, and the word is, that Andy Reid is intrigued by his skill set. Why? And this will be Fields' first time under an offensive-minded head coach. It was a disaster with the Bears, obviously with the Steelers, and then the Jets. This is his first offensive-minded head coach. So if there's any talent in there, this is the type of team that would bring it out of him. They clearly like him more than everybody else does, or at least more than the Jets did. And you got to ask why. What does Andy Reid, who's won a lot with a lot of different quarterbacks over the years, and not just in Kansas City, what does he see? And that part is the most intriguing. What if Fields, he's not going to be a Pro Bowl guy, but what if Patrick Mahomes isn't playing until October and Fields starts and they go 2-2 with him and he looks decent? All of a sudden, he stabilized that franchise in those 4 games. Now Mahomes comes back and they're off to the races and they see what happens. That part, to me, is super intriguing. If it was another coach that didn't know what he was doing, then I would dismiss it. If it was Atlanta, if it was Arizona. But it's really hard for me to just push off the fact that it was Andy Reid who knows what he's doing versus everybody else. Yeah, you saw him. Okay, you think he stinks, but why doesn't he think he stinks? There's something to that to me.
Yeah, and I listen, I get if you're watching last year, I'm sorry, I can't get on this with you. Did you watch any of the Jets last year? That was a defensive coach with a team that had no interceptions on the season. I mean,
it's hard to do.
And the year before, this guy, and I do agree with Tavio, outplayed the other quarterback that replaced him. He was 4-2 in Pittsburgh when he was starting. I don't think that I don't love the narrative around Justin Fields. I think he's a lot better than people give him credit for. And if Andy Reid's willing to give him a shot, you better believe I'm willing to give his ass a shot.
That's where I'm at. Like, I think that this is an intriguing move. And the Jets, who have, by the way, who I've liked all their moves. I like how they're building for the future. I like how they acquired all those picks. I think they might look back at this one and go, yeah, we didn't coach them right.
Yeah, I dig it. Well, guys, as you know, it is St. Patrick's Day. No Shane today, but no problem. You got Tyrone and me. It's time for Quick Hitters. All right, question number 1 for today's Quick Hitters. It is St. Paddy's Day. Whether you're going out or not going out, I am going out. I'm going to my favorite Irish pub here in Los Angeles. It's O'Brien's Pub on Wilshire Boulevard in Santa Monica, California. Owner Willie is going to give me some corned beef hash. He's going to give me some whiskey, and I may even drink a Guinness today. That might happen. That might take place today. My question for you, my guy, is what are you drinking today on today's St. Paddy's Day?
Now, I can go a lot of different directions. But what I would likely do on a day like today, I've already celebrated St. Patrick's Day twice already in 2 different locales in New Jersey. 37 is sunny today. The weather not so great, but at least the sun's out. I think I'll go gin today. Ginman, yes. Go gin today on this holiday. But I do have to have at least one Guinness.
I got to say, dude, I don't think I'm right for this. This is just my own preference. I can't get into gin. I've tried to get into gin. Dude, gin it tastes like I'm drinking fucking cologne.
Yeah, it's an acquired taste. It's not for everybody. What I noticed is that when I'm out and about, sometimes people want to buy me shots. And there was one summer in which I had done several gallons of tequila. I noticed that when you drink gin, no one offers anything like that. And that allows you to control your intake. And that is in large part why I drink gin.
That's a good reason to drink gin. I dig that. I've never even thought of that. There's like a psychological measure around it around other people.
Yes.
Do you have any St. Paddy's stories? Because I definitely do.
Oh, man. Oh, boy. Yeah, I have a few. One, I believe in large part, my brother is married to the wife he's married to now and not with a girlfriend that he was with then, in large part because of St. Patrick's Day. I'll tell you. So I'm not proud of this story necessarily. This is years ago. I'm a much younger man. They've been married. They've been together for quite a long time, well over a decade and a half. So just to give you an idea, we're going back a little bit. But we were going out for St. Patrick's Day, and it was we were going out. We're going to have a good time, my brother and I and all our friends. And his girlfriend at the time was a non-drinker. So I'm thinking, perfect. You can drive. Perfect day. No. I'm not staying, she says. So I noticed we went out early. So we went out about 1 o'clock local time. And I noticed 2 o'clock goes by. She's still there. 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock. And now at this point, I've had a dozen drinks. It's 10 p.m. And again, she wasn't staying and she couldn't drive. She's still there. And I go over to him. I go, why are you still here? And if that's the case, why did I drive? Because what's going to happen now is this is pre-Uber. I had to then get a ride home that night. The next day, had to get a ride to get my car the next day. The only reason I drove was because she said she was leaving. But she had no plans on leaving. She planned on watching him because we were at the bar and there were girls there. And God forbid that he be around a girl. I lay it out, and my brother was super mad at me. And within minutes, they're over. He meets his now wife, and I think I opened his eyes when I pointed out how selfish she was on St. Patrick's Day. I stand by my reaction. It was ridiculous that I drove that day. She knew she was not going to leave. She should have just fessed up about it, but she was dishonest. I called her on it, and the good thing, the alcohol took away the inhibitions with the way I told her.
I love it. I love it. By the way, people always want to buy me shots. Tyrone hitting us with the humble brag. Yeah,
I apologize.
Yeah. My story is one of my favorite stories. I was in spring training, and those of you know, spring training taking place right now. So every spring training for 10 years, I was always in spring training during St. Patty's Day, and I had to be up every spring training at 4 a.m. So I wasn't really trying to be super out late, especially on St. Patty's Day, which I always thought was just amateur hour. So one day I'm in the hotel, and by the way, it's like my second spring training. That's why I'm in the hotel. After this year, I never lived in the hotel again because this is what happened. One day, I'm like 22, 23 years old, and guys are already in the organization looking at me like I'm a veteran at 22, 23 years old. I get a knock on the door at midnight. I'm getting a curfew check. I opened the door because he woke me up, and I looked at the coach. He's like, "Deck, I'm so sorry." I'm like, I hate you. I have to be up in 3, you son of a bitch. Anyways, this is actually what happened, though, on St. Patty's Day that particular year. A teammate comes to my door. This teammate was a sleazy bastard. A good teammate, but dude, he just, every night he was out. He was trying to sleep with every woman he can get his hands on. And one night, he knocks on my door in a fervor and a panic. He's wearing a white t-shirt, green pants, and opens the door, and his whole shirt, white shirt, covered in blood. I'm like thinking in my head, oh my God, who'd you kill? I have to grab the rug out of this Hampton Inn Suites, and I guess we gotta roll the body up and go to the desert. What's going on? What'd you do? And he's like, Deck, I don't know what to do. I'm like, oh my God, what is going on? Turns out he had brought a girl back from the bar. He comes to me, he's like freaking out. He's like, I think I just took a girl's virginity, dude. I think I just took a girl's virginity. And I look at him like, how old's the girl? He's like, she's like 30. I'm like, you didn't. She came home with you? No, you didn't. I go and see her. She's perfectly fine. She didn't even know that the whole room was now covered in red stuff. And I'm just sitting here going like, this is nuts. Why am I involved in this at all? And he tells me it's because I need you to give me a ride and her a ride back to the bar. I took them back to the bar. They stayed out a few more hours. He came back with another girl 3 hours later and woke me up again. Dude, baseball players are the worst.
Wait, hold on. Can you say what the blood was?
Yeah, it was that time.
No. Okay, so that's what that was. Okay, I thought that's what it was.
It was just that time.
Okay, that's not great though. That's not
wasn't.
Great, though.
It wasn't, but I'm glad I thought it was hilarious that his first thought was he thought he was like, oh my goodness, I can't believe. I'm like, dude, you have no game. You look like you, and you got a girl to come home with you. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it wouldn't have been her first time.
Yeah, no, that was not her first time. And I hope, sir, you were protected. I also have a rule. If you go to the bar with your kids, now if you go now, it's what 12:30 or so on the West Coast and like 3:30 on the East Coast, fine. But if you take your kids to the bar after dark on St. Patrick's Day and you complain about language, you're the problem. Mm-hmm. You're the problem. Okay. One time I had a mom try to tell me off because I celebrate St. Patrick's Day every year. Okay. I'm part of the deal. All right. It's part of who I am. All right. And she tried to chastise me for my language. So I cursed more in front of her kid.
Good.
Because like what are you doing? What are you doing? It's 9:00 on St. Patrick's Day and your kid's out. He should be home in bed. But yeah, that's another rule. That
also just don't take your kids to a bar on St. Patty's Day. You're gonna hear and see things. I'm sorry, it's not the day.
And the other part is I wasn't cursing at the kid either. I was telling a story, and the story needed profanity. or wouldn't have worked.
Yeah, I get it. That makes sense to me. We do this all the time. Sometimes these stories need some profanity. There's nothing else to say about it.
They need it. Now, one more thing about the friend, though. He didn't just change his shirt. Did he properly shower before you took him back out?
You know he didn't shower. He changed his shirt. Yes.
Because then when you bring home the next one, you're gross. No, you're gross. And that's
gross.
And that's rude to her. Because listen, no matter what the girl is, and this girl probably, I believe she's a person who does that often. Okay? She does that often, what you were referring to, going back to hotels with strangers. She probably did that often. But I value the vagina. Okay, I value it a great deal. And if a woman is willing to give me the vagina, the least I can do is make sure I wash my ass. Okay, yes. Because I'm nothing without the vagina. I need it. So if someone's going to give me the vagina, this is how we complete the transaction. I have to make sure I use soap. For him to go out there with nary a rinse off, to me, is offensive to all the vagina-loving people in the world, both male and female.
I tell my girl all the time, like I shower all the time because, one, I got to keep you interested, and two, like I clean myself for you as if I was putting myself up on eBay. Like that's how much I scrub myself up for you. Keeping it all together. And by the way, everyone is everybody really loves your take on this, on your respect of the vagina. I respect the vagina. We all respect the vagina here on Beadle and Decker. We always say that.
That's right.
And you got your word. You got my word, Swaggy. We will clip this today. All right, next question. Really going a completely different direction. Hey, what's your favorite board game?
Okay, board game. Board game, not card game.
Is there a vagina board game out there that
there was? I wish. I swear I wish. I tell you what, ladies, I never used a thimble in Monopoly. Anyway.
Yeah, that's not clean. It's not clean. I'm sorry.
That is small. Let's go. No, it is Monopoly. It is definitely Monopoly. There are many games I do enjoy, such as the game of life. I enjoyed. There was quite a few board games I enjoyed, but it is Monopoly, to the point where my uncle, who was only 12 years younger than me, so it was a closer in age type uncle. He was the cool uncle. He had this like beautiful set with like the gold pieces, and it's like a real wooden board and all that stuff. It is Monopoly is my favorite board game.
I get it. My problem with Monopoly is, like what everybody says, you never finish. I've never to this day finished a game of Monopoly. It's never happened.
Well, I finished it, and you play it, and he's mean about it too.
Mm-hmm. And sure, Monopoly talk now makes Don't worry, we'll get back to vaginas. You'll be happy.
The other part is it still fits in. I want a Monopoly when I go out on St. Patrick's Day on the vagina. So it all works.
And by the way, on top of that, I'm just thinking like this is good. Chess is I'm gonna count chess. I'm a big chess guy. I'm gonna count it. But if we're talking like Milton Bradley type board games, yeah, I'm going real lazy, dude. I'm just going simple. Battleship, dude. Battleship's a fucking jam.
Battleship is a good game. Battleship is a good game. What I've noticed is, though, with Battleship is it was never fun for me because my brother would be a doofus playing it. He's going to do two things every time. He's going to group them all together to where once you find one, you got everything. Or he's going to put it all around the perimeter. It's one or the other. So it's like no in between. There was no strategy with him, and that's who I would play with the most in Battleship.
Connect 4. Great.
Here's my issue with Connect 4. This is why I don't think I play chess. My brain isn't compatible with Connect 4. I'm terrible at it. My brain can't see the next dimension. I'm terrible at it. It's something I need to work on.
I know how to fix this. Because here I've gotten in Catalina Island. Catalina Island is this little island off the coast of Los Angeles.
I want to go.
Yeah. Yeah. No, you get out here. We're going to Catalina. Don't worry. I'll take you to Catalina. But there is a little arcade there, and they do have a Connect 4 at this arcade, but it's the sweetest Connect 4 I've ever seen. It's like the Connect 4 board in front of you on a gigantic screen, but it's like 7 basketball hoops, and you're playing Connect 4 by shooting free throws and trying to do a Connect 4 that way. That, dude, I'm telling you, I've never had more fun fucking playing Connect 4 in my life than this.
Now that is more my speed because now I'll make the shot. The shot's pure. So now we're talking because, yeah, I stake at it normally. Little kids beat me.
That's how we'll get them. That's how we'll get them. All right, last question. What's your favorite fast food chain that is – no, I'm sorry. What's your favorite restaurant chain that isn't fast food?
Okay, so talk about chain restaurants, something that I generally, in large part, don't do, but I do have one. It's Chili's for this reason.
Okay.
You go to the bar, they actually have, if you ever look at a Chili's menu, you can probably find it online, they have, it's not a bad place to go today. They have very interesting drinks that are there. They have different kind, they got top shelf margaritas with different kinds of tequilas you wouldn't expect from a chain. Surprisingly, the Chili's is my favorite chain. And I always say, this is not judgment, because I live in a major metro area, either New York or Philadelphia, I have access to non-chains, so I try not to do them. But when you go to places that don't, I recognize that you can have people here from Iowa. I don't know what they have in Iowa as far as mom and pop places. I don't know. Chili's to me is the best one for me.
Tavio really big on his Club Applebee's, I'm assuming. Me,
It's not bad.
I'm gonna throw one out there, and I feel bad about this answer because I do feel like it shouldn't be this answer, but I'm gonna. And I love me a PF Chang's, dude. It's fake. It's fake class. It's just pure fake class. It's fake Asian food. It's fake everything. It's a cheesecake factory that has like statues of Genghis Khan in it. I get it, but dude, I'm sorry. You put that Mongolian beef in front of me, I'm eating that fucking Mongolian beef, and I'm eating it again. It's so fucking good.
Yes. Now, I guess I was trying to think of a chain that's everywhere. PF Chang's is everywhere. That's why I picked it. I do like back when Carrabba's was open. I like the Carrabba's a great deal, but you can't find Carrabba's. No, there are Carrabba's. Carrabba's is. I'm changing my answer. It's Carrabba's.
Carrabba's is a good one.
And the Carrabba's near me is always packed.
I will not count.
As fast.
You think it's fast food? That's
here's
fair. Okay.
No. Panera's very good.
It is.
Very
you
good.
Get soups. I get soups and bread at Panera. That's what I get. All right, let's go ahead and get off the quick hitters. Hey, congratulations. The madness is getting ready to begin, everybody. And can you explain to me in your summation, what is this controversy with undefeated Miami of Ohio? And why are we letting Bill Self, who is getting paid by Auburn and his son coaches at Auburn, getting on every single television? I say Bruce Pearl, not Bill Self. Bruce Pearl getting on every possible show, trying to say the 500 Auburn should be in.
Here's the tough thing, because I like to be careful, because some people have been anti-Semitic towards Bruce Pearl. And I'm not saying this about his religion in any way, shape, or form. Bruce Pearl is a money-hungry idiot to the point where he's still getting paid by Auburn while he's on the committee to pick teams. No one would have thought any of these things if not for Bruce Pearl's dumbass, okay? Also, though, along the way, he's also been paid to now change in the state of Tennessee, because he used to be Tennessee's coach, even though he's getting paid by Auburn, which is not in Tennessee, to change the name of one of the rivers in the Middle East because they paid him to say it. So he went in front of the state legislature there because they paid him to do it. This is a man who's 65 years old, who should be independently wealthy at this point, who has a son. He got his son a sweetheart gig in the SEC. And all he is looking for money and looking for hot takes, and that's all he is right now. And I will also add this, because this is going to come up again later in the program still. He's also a damn snitch. Like, let's not forget there have been players who lost NCAA eligibility because a coach was cooking food at a barbecue and he called the NCAA. And then when he did it, he complained about somebody snitches on him. There is not a lot I like about Bruce Pearl, but he created this fake-ass controversy, and it still lives on because of his dumb ass. Nobody else had a problem with them getting in except for him. Except for him.
And it's wild to me, dude, because Bruce Pearl, like, how no one's been like more in trouble in like the last 20 years in the NCAA than Bruce Pearl. Why in the hell would NCAA basketball allow Bruce Pearl to be the face of all of this media going into March. It's fucking baffling to me.
It is. And I think it's just because he's a guy who's affable and he's articulate enough without sounding like he's really smart. Meaning he's not a guy that's going to talk down to you normally. And he does have a pedigree as a coach and a successful coach, but just everything he's doing is just for money. And I got to say this, when you do things solely for money, I'm not talking about feed your family. That's different than just for money. When you do something just for money, it's rarely a good thing. And he's in a bunch of things right now just because of money. And that's usually dangerous. Think about things in life that you do just for money, not out of desperation, not because you had to, because I can't pay the rent, I can't pay the car note, my kids need braces. Just, I have this money, I just want more, so I'll do this thing I don't believe in, and that's what Bruce Pearl's doing, and we're noticing.
Yeah. And speaking of snitches and NCAA, and speaking of just for money, Alabama's got a problem because Aiden Holloway won't be with the team. And why won't he be with the team? Well, it appears that law enforcement in Alabama, in Tuscaloosa, apparently have found, and this is real, 2.1 pounds of marijuana, and they are looking to prosecute him, but not necessarily for the possession. This is where it gets really weird and interesting to me. They're looking to actually try to prosecute him due to not getting a tax kind of credit to sell and distribute something that is currently illegal in Alabama, which is weird. Also, if you have 2.1 pounds of marijuana, I consider that out of marijuana. Now,
I want to address that part first, because what? Now, listen, I am not a hypocrite. I partake. Now, it's not currently in my home studio, but literally, if I go straight up one floor directly above, I have different strains. I have different sources in which you can partake. I have my incense and everything all ready to cover smell. Like, I am a veteran with this. I remember the Hawaiian Punch bottle, okay, and the gravity bong, and feeling like I can feel the smoke moving around in between my brain and my skull. I don't do that anymore because, come on, I'm a grown man. But I remember all those things. So you still do that?
Oh, of course I do. Dude, dude, yeah, come on, man. You have to understand, though. I have a tolerance reserved for like Irish dock workers in the 1930s. You have no idea how much weed it takes to make a dent into your boy.
All right, fair enough. I feel like if it's, and I'm not talking about this, I am not. Wow. All right, I'm a lightweight apparently. I thought I'm like Smoke Dog in here. This is what I'll say though. I don't know if it's for you why you need at any given moment more than 2 ounces.
Because it's hard to go get more sometimes. I don't want to leave my house. I just smoked the 2 ounces. I just want to have 2 more ounces ready to go.
Now you sound like Rick James. There was a time where Rick James claimed that he would smoke while touring, not at home. Like, he's active. 1 ounce a day.
That's a lot.
I didn't believe him. So this is what I mean, where 2 pounds of weed, 2 pounds of weed is a lot of weed. And my guess
but if you think about it, 2 pounds of weed, maybe he was just stockpiling for the year. So that's roughly like 2.5 joints an evening. If you think about it that way, because some of this was shrink wrapped, saving for the future.
It was, okay. But also, if I was to buy a pound of weed and it wasn't shrink wrapped, I don't want it. So that also can tell me like what he's doing with it. So like, I want to make this clear. I'm joking about this in large part because I don't think it's that big a deal. He got $5,000 bond. They don't think it's that big a deal because they charged him with 2 felonies and gave him $5,000 bond. This is something where hypothetically he'd get 10 years. If they wanted to keep him there, they could have added a 0. They could have added 2 zeros and he probably would have gotten away with it. As far as if they thought he was a threat or something like that. They did find some scales and paraphernalia, but I want to also make it clear they found no weapons of any kind. Not a knife, not a gun, not anything like that. Just to make it clear in the context of the facts of the story. I want to know something because I know what happened in a place like Alabama. Now, they don't have recreational, but they literally could have they will have medical in 6 to 8 weeks. It's going to happen late April or early May for the first time. They will have medical in the state. They'll claim it'll be hard to get, but it won't be that hard to get. The companies will go there. My guess is somebody snitched on him, and they're charging with the tax thing to make an example out of him to keep people from having large quantities in a state where if they're just now catching up to 2026 and making it less criminal.
Yeah, but if that's the case, I can't stress this enough. I fucking hate that because this seems very much because this is just a decision. And it's like, listen, I'm not saying that technically race is taking a part in this, but this is Alabama. This is a star basketball player. And it seems like an interesting choice to make an example of.
Yeah, that's a good point. And I will say, credit to the people of Alabama. A lot of their sheriffs and the people that make decisions in those states are elected. It's not necessarily a merit-based thing, but when you're elected, that means they can get rid of you. There's already many petitions in Alabama to get that guy out of there for getting rid of their best player right before the tournament. This kid is a really good point guard. I'm talking about the basketball part. I know not everybody gets to watch Alabama's games. He's their point guard. He also shoots 44% from three. He's a really good basketball player. Small guard, but a really good basketball player. To do this on the eve of the tournament also will get the attention I think they were trying to get, but it's also going to get a couple people unelected because the people are not happy about doing this. And I think we all know that weed's not the same. You can say what you want. Weed's not the same.
It's not.
Period. It's period.
It just is not
the same.
We have to be past this, people. We're long past reefer madness. I just don't know what to tell you. Marijuana is a lovely thing. Let's move on from that, and let's just real quick before we go on to shiggles and reflections, my guy. Anything from the Oscars that really caught your eye? Because there is one thing from the Oscars that if you haven't seen it, I cannot stress this enough. The live performance of Lied to You from Sinners is I was wondering how they were going to do it. Because I'm like, you know, in the cinema, like you're like, wow, this is just what an experience, especially in an IMAX. You feel like you're in that barn in that thing. I'm like, well, yeah, but there was a lot of movie magic, a lot of camera tricks, a lot of takes, a lot of interesting cuts. I don't know how they can do this live. Holy shit, they did it live, and they might have done it better. Dude, that was
incredible. It was incredible. And I think the nuances of it as well. So they start off with Raphael Sadiq from Tony, a California guy. That matters in a case like this when you're talking about a Ryan Coogler movie, the California part of it, being part from the Oakland area. So you start off with a person who understands exactly like where Ryan Coogler's coming from with the vision. And that matters in a situation like that. You have Shabuzi, whatever. The girl from Alabama Shakes. But then two parts jump out. First, when they had the three vampires, the white vampires come down, they're there. So, like, that adds to it because that's part of it is like the sound that they coming there. And then Misty Copeland making the greatest comeback in the history of sports. Now, I'm not saying that all ballet is a sport, but I will say ballerinas are athletes. She had a hip replacement in December. In December, she had her hip replaced. She's performing in March at the Oscars. I don't care. That's an athletic feat. I don't give a damn what anybody says. Okay, that's an athletic feat. She retired because of injuries, got her hip replaced, and back on stage in March. She was in a walker not that long ago. Wow, that also jumped out to me because I was like, how is she doing this?
And I also love how they finished it because you know how because if you remember Lie to You in the movie, the ballerina comes out about I'd say 60% of the way through the actual. So they saved it for the end, and you better believe Timmy Chalamet put his head down as quickly as he could. That kid just wore it all fucking night.
Yeah, his movie goes 0 for 9. His movie goes 0 for 9. And the thing is, I don't think they invited her because of that. I think they invited her because she's the most famous black ballerina, and that matters for the movie. Because don't worry, there's white people in the movie, but it matters for the movie. For those that haven't seen it, it does matter. There was a black ballerina there, but I think they brought her out last because of Chalamet. I think they arranged it that way as a fuck you to him.
Yeah, it was. It definitely was. And there were a lot of fuck yous to Timmy Chalamet throughout the last couple of weeks. I feel bad because, like, listen, I don't think what he said, like, what he said was
wrong. He's actually
not wrong.
wrong.
It was just tone deaf and kind of made him look like an elitist little prick. I get it. Yeah. It really wasn't that big of a deal, but I did think it was funny how much he was wearing it. That was pretty funny to me. And yes, of course, gave the American. How will you ever explain it to the kids? It's been a long couple of weeks with all this shit explaining things to the kids. All right.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and shiggle, my guy.
Yes.
What are you shiggling on today?
You know, I was thinking about something, and we've talked about youth sports a lot. You've worked with a lot of kids in sports, and I've been talking about how basically it's guaranteed kids, and parents, I don't mean to be that way, your kid's not going pro. But I will say this. Ryan Coogler, actually, before the movie thing I had it in my mind, he ends up, goes to college to play sports. Goes to Sacramento, and then he transferred. He goes to Sac State, plays football, and he says he learned so much about basically chasing his dreams, and then also in the locker room, just how to get along with your peer group and how to talk to people and things like that. And then he goes, think about it, 2012, he's doing like a young filmmaker like symposium just to see if he wants to do it. That's 2012. Now he has an Oscar before the age of 40 in 2026. Like, think about that. And to me, it just got me to thinking about like all of us, whether it's us or anybody, just about how sports. First of all, I feel bad for people that don't understand sports and don't like sports, but goodness gracious, the things that we get from sports that have nothing to do with sports.
Yes. I've said this from the first movie of his that I saw, which I saw in theaters, which was a movie, and I talked about this a little bit yesterday, but I'll talk about it again because I think it's worth talking about. Ryan Coogler's first movie is a movie called Fruitville Station. Yep. And it was very clear that it was a very personal movie to him because it was about an incident that took place in Oakland, and it was a very famous story. And I will tell you this, I have not watched this movie since because it's not really a rewatchable movie. Yeah. It's a real tough watch. But I'll never forget it. That was the movie where I said, I don't know who Ryan Coogler is, but this was incredible work. And then that was the movie that when I saw Michael B. Jordan's performance in that, going like, Michael B. Jordan's a star. Like I'm sorry. This guy's a legitimate actor, because there is a shot in that movie, and maybe you remember this shot, and I'll never forget it because it's one of the shots that I've seen in the last 20 years that has stuck with me more than just about any other shot in a movie. And do you remember the scene when Michael B. Jordan is in the prison with his mom? And a guy tries to like talk shit to him, and he gets up trying to grandstand in front of his mom. His mom yells at him to sit back down. He sits back down, kind of eyes going back and forth between the guy with furious anger and like shame and embarrassment because from his mom, because he's not acting the way he should in front of his mom. That moment, like that is stuck with me, that acting performance and keeping the camera on his face for that 10 seconds to show the range of emotions. Like, I'm almost getting emotional thinking about that scene. And then, of course, you get to the next few movies of his career. You get to Creed, a movie that should not work, yet it's incredible. You get to Black Panther. You get to Black Panther. I'm sorry, Black Panther 2 should never have worked under any circumstance ever. And you know what he said? Fuck it, I got Angela Bassett. This shit'll work, and it worked.
And it worked. Yeah, it's crazy. Real fast on Michael B. Jordan, real fast if I may. Yeah. Smoke and Stack, right? Now, Michael B. Jordan has dimples. The reason he spoke the way he did, one of the twins has dimples and the other one doesn't. I would have never thought to do that. I didn't notice initially. People that know more about movies than me pointed it out. But wow. And that's why I think that so many people were disappointed that it didn't win Best Picture. I think there were some people who feel like people missed it. Now, I will say this, though. I saw quite a few of the movies. One battle after another. This was not a robbery. This was a situation where you thought the wrong team won. That happens sometimes. The wrong film might have won, but this was not a robbery. I just want to make that clear.
And I know this is not a consolation prize, but Sinners is a movie that we're going to remember for decades upon decades and citing for decades. I'd like to remind everybody, arguably the greatest sports movie of all time, or at least one of them, I would say is Rocky, the original Rocky. Nominated for Best Picture, didn't win.
Right.
Should have won.
Right. But and if you had to ask who won, you'd have to Google it.
Yes.
Because you don't know off the top of your head that movie. So unless Tiana Taylor goes on to being the biggest movie star in the world, then we'll remember it because that'll be the thing that launched her. Or Chase Infinity, which was literally her first movie ever. If she goes on, short of that, that movie will not be even Leo's top 5 movie in his catalog. While Sinners is going to be tough to beat for Michael B. Jordan's catalog.
Completely.
And he's going to be active for a long time.
But one thing I would like to say, there was also a bit of this, and we're not going to pretend this doesn't happen at Oscars. There's a little bit of a consolation prize towards Paul Thomas Anderson, who won Best Director, and they won Best Picture. Paul Thomas Anderson should have won this award like 3 other times. Yes. There Will Be Blood, he probably should have won it. Yes. Boogie Nights, I firmly believe he should have won it.
I think that movie's a masterpiece, and he should have won it. That was a tough year, but yes, he absolutely should have won it. So that actually happens. That's also why Denzel Washington wins for Training Day, but not Malcolm X, because they felt like they owed Pacino from all those years. Like that happens. Right.
Like, if you're going to tell me right now, if I go to a random person, like, what movie do you think Al Pacino won an Oscar for? They're never going to say Scent of a Woman. They're just not going to.
Exactly. But you get to a point with him, if we don't give it to him for this, he might not get one, and that's wrong for that man not to have one. And they believed rightfully that Denzel would do other work, and Denzel gets his later on.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's go ahead. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. He flat out did. He deserved it for Glory too, for that matter.
He was supporting. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah. Well, here we go. Let's go ahead and wrap this bad boy up. It's time for reflections. All right, I'm going to make my reflection what I was going to talk about during Shiggles, because I still feel good about this. We need to take the Lakers seriously. It's no longer, no more of this narrative. We saw it last night. LeBron had a really nice night with the cast and crew against the Rockets. They really showed up, especially at the end. There's been this bit of this narrative going around the Lakers that these 3 cannot play together. And I hear what you're saying, because the numbers do support that. But also, there is a small sample size when it comes to these numbers. What is this, 14 games, 13 games these guys have actually played together? And I'm getting a little annoyed that we're talking about LeBron James like he can't figure out basketball. He's LeBron goddamn James. He can figure out basketball. And make no mistake, the Lakers are 9-1 in their last 10 games. They've won 6 in a row. They're firmly now in 3rd place in the West. And they are showing what they really can do. Now, would I like them to have a center? Yes. Would I like them to play harder defense and better defense? Yes. Do I think they're going to win the finals? No, I do not. But I do think they're a lot better than we're giving them credit for, considering the fact they are 3rd in the West, considering the fact that Luka is a monster, that Austin Reeves is up and coming, and that LeBron James is LeBron James. We have to just remember, I know he's always on the ball and he's more comfortable on the ball. You're telling me LeBron James, arguably the GOAT, can't figure out how to be slightly off ball? Guys, knock it off. I'm not even a LeBron stan. I freely admit I've not loved the LeBron Laker era. But you're telling me this team can't go deep into the playoffs? Knock it off. Yes, they can.
You know, I have to say, LeBron, this is what I found interesting in the Denver game. Not to get too in the weeds. Late possession. He hedges onto Murray, makes Murray pass. Then they rotate the ball, and he jumps out and dives for the ball there. He posted online like he skinned his knee, took the skin off his leg. I'm going to say this, and I know it's uncomfortable. LeBron's the Lakers' best defender right now in his 40s.
He is.
Now, to ask him to do that for 48 minutes is unfair, and that's why reasonable. They're not going to be a good defensive team as far as winning championships this year. But I will say this. You're going to win playoff games in this year because of LeBron's defense. And I don't want to do the LeBron Jordan thing. I don't want to do any of that. What I do want to say is, when we look back on LeBron, what we are going to say is, we've never seen an athlete like that in the NBA for as long as he has. To be the anchor of the defense in your 40s on a playoff team is fucking insane.
It's nuts. It just is. It just is not. They even said it in the game last night, because I was watching the game along with watching the WBC. They're like, LeBron James, based on the sabermetrics and what we get on thing, he's still arguably one of the top 3 fast break basketball players in the game. He's 41.
Right. And I know there's a cottage industry of hating on LeBron. And I think it's stupid, and all those guys will have to find something to do when he's finally done. But this has been – the Lakers are now fascinating, And then with Curry going down with injury, because people thought maybe the Warriors would make a run, get into the play-in, etc., LeBron has really added another unexpected storyline to go with the Pistons, to go with the Spurs being ahead of schedule, to go with OKC's most dominance once again after some tough moments, to go with Tatum coming back. The Lakers being interesting is good for the sport, and I did not expect it, but they're now interesting. It's unexpected.
Well, anything you're reflecting on before we shut it down today, my guy?
Well, the last thing I want to reflect on is that sports are supposed to be fun. And I want to thank all the Latin players in baseball for saying that and for doing it. Sports are supposed to be fun. And I don't care if it's the youth level, and that's the level I end up caring about the most, because more people obviously are participating in youth sports that are playing in major leagues, playing in the NBA, etc. It's supposed to be fun. And if you're a parent and your kid's not having fun, then you have to wonder why not. And you have to look at yourself, you have to look at the coaches, because it's supposed to be fun. And I want to thank the World Baseball Classic for reminding me once again that sports are supposed to be fun.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more. Tyrone Johnson. We love a Tyrone Tuesday here on Beadle and Decker. We look forward to the next Tyrone Tuesday. And next week, my guy. And tell me, where can people find you?
Yes, co-host of the Craig Carton Show. That's on Sports Grid. You can get the podcast. You can get it. It's on YouTube as well. And then also you can follow me on social media, wherever you want to, at Ty Johnson News. And people said, why do you have that? You don't give news. I used to work for the Wall Street Journal. You don't know my life. You don't know my resume. I worked for the Wall Street Journal. That is literally why I have that Twitter. That's
Wall
why I have
Street
that social media.
Journal.
Oh, yeah, the resume is legit. Yeah, it's a legit resume. No money, but good resume.
All right, guys, you can follow me on Twitter at Decker6, even though I don't post as much as I once did. Absolutely follow me on Instagram, Anti-Hero Baseball. Most importantly, follow the show. Like, share, and subscribe right here on YouTube. And like, share, and subscribe wherever you get your favorite podcast. We are getting the podcast up. Apologies, a few weeks ago, we were having issues with the podcast. As you've noticed, the podcasts have been going up again. Today's podcast will be up, and watch out for videos. Yes, there might be something clipped later. Maybe a couple of things clipped. Maybe vaginas will be mentioned. Who knows? Who knows? We will be back tomorrow. Michelle Beadle back in their chair tomorrow right here on Beadle and Decker. And most importantly, if there's one thing I can leave you with, I want you to just take this home and look your children in the eye and say, R.I.P. Estelle Getty.